Thanks for joining me for another What I Eat in a Day video. And today we're going to be making something very, very special. So we are going to be starting off the day today with something I actually cooked yesterday. I have some chicken that I air fried with some of that delicious Trim Healthy Mama nacho seasoning. I'm going to put a little bit of mustard on that. I'm also going to put some, I don't know if I'm going to put cheese on it or not. I don't think I am, but we'll see. I'm going to go ahead and make a wrap with some of my protein wraps and probably a piece of fruit. That sounds kind of good today. And then for lunch, well, that's going to be my lunch because remember I started the intermittent fasting, so I'm still have another hour to go until I have my lunch. But then I'm going to be having some delicious soup that I'm going to be making for you. It's going to be a cream of pumpkin soup. This is a fall recipe. Now, this is not a Trim Healthy Mama recipe, but it is a recipe that I make every single year. I'm going to roast the pumpkin. I'm going to be cooking up some hamburger. I made this a couple weeks ago with some ground turkey. It was delicious with turkey. I know it's going to be just as delicious with hamburger. I actually roast up the onions, and it is just the most flavorful soup you've ever had. And the best part is after you roast the pumpkin, I have a big pumpkin that was in my garden, so I'm going to roast that. I'm going to use half of it for some pumpkin, for some probably a Christmas pie, and then the other half of the pumpkin I'm using for my soup. So I'll use the pumpkin. I actually put cabbage in mine. Sometimes I put some sweet potato in, but this time I'm opting for the cabbage, and it is going to be just an amazing, amazing, amazing dinner. I can't wait for dinner. Best part is it's a crock pot recipe. So I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to have a few healthy snacks in between. I hope that you enjoy watching this video, that it motivates you. I've had several people write to me on the email and make comments on my videos about me just making everything look so easy, that, different people are really struggling. It's hard to find motivation. So I just want to encourage you. Right now, I'm doing a Thanksgiving challenge. It's a very small, short window of a challenge. I actually started it 2 weeks ago, but it's a 10-pound challenge from now till Thanksgiving Day. If you'd like to join something really short, really fun, and something that we can do to maybe just lose a few pounds before the holidays, that might be something kind of fun. I'll probably have like a little Christmas challenge in there in between too. So anyway, as far as the motivation, I don't know really what's motivated me. I think a lot of it, I didn't start off and say, I'm going to change my life today. I didn't do that. I had been suffering a lot of pain with my knee for a couple years, had a total knee replacement. That was like a whole year of pain and suffering. And I'll be honest, I had pain for like 3 years, really severe pain, which I've never really had that kind of bone pain before. It was excruciating. And I thought, if I can get out of this situation where I'm out of pain every second of the day, I'm going to get myself in better shape. And so I started researching and slowly looking through different kinds of diets. I actually tried a couple kinds of diets until I found the one that worked for me, which, as many of you know, it's Trim Healthy Mama. I love the diet. I use a couple of their cookbooks. I have the starter book. I stay on it the best I can. And even when I'm not following their recipes, I try to stay within those fats and carbs and that kind of thing. I do my best to do that. And I've lost over 70 pounds. Now, it's been 15 months, but at this point, I added intermittent fasting a couple weeks ago. And it's just slowly but surely I've been, first I started researching diets. Then I started doing these short-term challenges, which really kind of motivated me. I have, this accountability through YouTube, which has, I think, been a huge help to me. And then I started adding exercise, and then just most recently, I started doing the intermittent fasting. So I don't know what is motivating me as far as my biggest motivator, but I think the thing that I think about the most is just being in a really good place to feel healthy and enjoy the rest of my life. That's really what's motivated me. So anyway, let's get cooking. I think sometimes a lot of talk is good occasionally because sometimes we need it. But I think cooking, you know, when I find recipes that work and are healthy and are delicious, it motivates me because I know I need to eat. So maybe it'll motivate you. So let's get into the kitchen. All right, my fast is officially over. And so I'm taking the rest of my chicken that I had from yesterday. It's kind of crazy. Never know I air fried this. And all I'm gonna do is take one of these protein tortillas that I get from Aldi. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this chicken on this tortilla. All I'm doing is kind of tearing some pieces so it's a little bit easier to fit on here for a wrap. So I'm gonna take a small amount of this feta cheese crumbles, not too much, just enough to give it a little bit more flavor. I was gonna put some mustard on, but I decided to do the feta cheese instead. I'm just gonna throw this in the microwave till the feta cheese melts a little bit. And the wrap that I'm using, I have two of the protein tortillas that I really like at Aldi. This is the other one. The other one's more like a whole grain. This one is their Lovin' Fresh Protein Original Tortilla. These are 12 grams of protein, 7 net carbs. They're high in fiber, low in fat, and they're perfect. So I'm gonna have one of these and make a wrap. All right, I'm just gonna wrap this up a little bit. I have a little bit left of the apple, what was this called? Apple crumble. This is a Trim Healthy Mama recipe, so I'm just gonna put this in here. And then I have some of this peach iced tea that I make. This is also an Aldi product. It's called peach iced tea. It's only 5 calories per serving. I mean, there's no sugar in it, less than 1 carb. I really like these. I get them at Aldi. They have lemonade, peach tea, fruit punch, and then regular iced tea. So that is my first meal of the day. Time for a protein bar. It's about 3 o'clock, and so I'm gonna have one of these. So this was a pumpkin that I had left over from Halloween from my garden. I grew this pumpkin. It's a nice big pumpkin. And we are gonna be making a lot of pumpkin soup because I like to freeze this so that I have this for another night. All right, so I've cut up half of my pumpkin. I'm just going to put this in layers right here on my sheet here. I've got a couple of onions. I'm gonna go ahead and put those down. I've got some garlic cloves. Now this one, I'm actually going to season. And then the other one, I'm just gonna put in just like it is and just roast it. So I take a little bit of olive oil. I put it on the pumpkin and also on the onion and the garlic. Then I take a little bit of salt, pepper, and a little bit of garlic powder. Now the other pumpkin, I'm just gonna put it in there just like that. I'm not gonna put any kind of seasoning on it. This one is gonna be for our pie. The next thing we're gonna do is cook up about a pound of either ground beef or ground turkey. Today I found some ground beef on sale, so I'm using that. But the last time I made this recipe, I used ground turkey and it was really delicious as well. Believe it or not, I still have some peppers from my garden. I don't know how, but I do. These have all been washed already, and all I'm gonna do is just take the insides out, and I'm gonna cut these up and put them right in with my ground beef. I want to cook these peppers. I want to just get them kind of, you know, cooked up and ready for the soup. Look at the deep red color of these peppers. It almost looks like a beet. Now, sometimes I put sweet potato in my pumpkin soup. I think today I'm gonna opt not to put the sweet potato in. I think instead of all things, I know it sounds crazy, but I'm gonna put cabbage in it, and it's gonna give it more fiber, and it's just gonna make, yeah, I just love cooked cabbage. I could put it in anything. So that's what we're gonna do today. I am gonna put a little bit of pumpkin pie spice in here, not too much, just a little. And these are just a few of my own seasonings that I make. This is a nacho cheese one. And this is my own herb mixture that I make out of my garden. It's got all kinds of good stuff in it. Dehydrated garlic and parsley, oregano, rosemary, thyme. All right, I'm gonna get rid of some of this grease. I don't have too much. Actually, it's looking pretty good. But what we do have, we'll get rid of it. All right, now I'm gonna put the rest of this in my crock pot. And I'm actually gonna add some water to this. All right, we're gonna go ahead and pour our soup mixture right in here. So I'm also gonna put in about a teaspoon of this Better Than bouillon. Now, if I was doing turkey, then I would probably use some of the chicken broth. I don't have turkey or beef broth right now, so I'm gonna use the Better Than bouillon. I'm also gonna put in about a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Now I'm gonna go ahead and cut up my cabbage. Now I'm gonna cut this up and then I'm gonna wash my cabbage. I just think it'll be a little easier to do it this way. Get this core out. Now I'm gonna start cooking this cabbage and soup together even while my pumpkin's cooking. And the reason is I want this cabbage to really cook down. I want to get all these flavors into my soup. I want them cooking all day long. So this is my soup. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and turn this on high until my pumpkin's cooked. And then as soon as that's ready, after it's been roasting in my oven, I'm going to go ahead and add this to the soup. And then I'll decide at that point if I need to add more liquid. I often don't because I have so many vegetables in here. And so I'm just going to let this cook away. And I'll bring you back as soon as the pumpkin's ready to put in the soup. So my pumpkin is all roasted. The first thing I'm going to do is take the pumpkin that hasn't been seasoned and I'm going to take all the skin off of it and I'm going to put it into a Ziploc bag and just throw it in the freezer so I'm ready to make my pie later in the season. I'll have this available. I'm going to take the onions, the garlic, and the pumpkin that I've cooked up in the stove, and I'm going to be making that into my soup. All right, so I've got all of the pumpkin peeled for my pumpkin pie. All I'm going to do is put it in a Ziploc bag, and I'm just going to get as much of the air out as I can. This only has to make it till Thanksgiving or Christmas, and this will make the best pie. So what I usually do is after it's in the plastic, I usually kind of break it down a little bit like this. Roasted pumpkin for my pie. And then I've got my soup here, which all I'm gonna do is just cut some of these pieces up. I will most likely take this pumpkin soup and use my immersion blender. That's why I like to get the cabbage completely, cooked down the best I can. I'm just kind of cutting the pumpkin a little bit, but you don't really even need to do that. All right, so I'm going to continue to cook this on high. And then I'm going to go ahead and after an hour or two, I'll go ahead and turn it down to low and just let it cook the rest of today. So I added about a half a cup of half and half, and I'm actually going to use an immersion blender on my soup. And I'm going to let it cook like another 10 or maybe 15 minutes. So this is my pumpkin soup. As you can see, it's nice and creamy now. I was able to cook the cabbage all day, so I put a little dollop of sour cream on the top of it, and it's ready to enjoy. So let's give this soup a try. I'm just gonna mix up some of this sour cream into the soup. Oh, that is so delicious. Couldn't ask for anything better on a nice fall day. So thanks for watching today. I think as far as tonight, this will probably be it for me. It's early, but doesn't matter. We'll see. If I'm hungry, I may have another bowl of soup, or I may have like a protein drink, something like that. But at this point, this really is, I think, it for my day. So thanks for joining me. If you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing to my channel. Give me a like, a thumbs up, or ring that bell for future notifications. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.